Good morning. So, as the weather starts to get cooler and these horses start to get a little spicier, pumpkin spice is back in the stores and our horses are becoming a little pumpkin spice themselves. Charlotte this morning did something that's going to need to be fixed. So, sometimes when you have young horses, the cool season is only the first or second time they've experienced that drop in temperature and the cool air in the morning and the crisper experience and all the other horses bouncing around in enthusiasm. And they may be inventing new ways to celebrate or new ways to use the energy that cool air brings to them. Charlotte, this morning, decided that she was irritated that Oopie, who has stepped over her in far as line to come in, so Oopie comes in before her now, where it didn't used to be that way. It used to be her and then Oopie, but for easily a month, Oopie's been first. And this morning, she decided that she was unhappy about that. And what she did was I got him out of the paddock. I was latching the gate, so I'm between him and the gate, with my arm, stretched out to hit the snap on the gate, so I latched the gate. And she came sideways and spun her butt, like kind of at my hand, at that opening of the gate. And with a little bit of a bump up. Like there was no question in my mind that was a threat. Whether it was towards me, towards her frustration with the gate being closed and her not being the one that came out, or towards Oopie, it doesn't matter who that was for or what that was for. What matters is that was a new invented reaction to her not coming out first and having a little spice. So I put Oopie away, I came out, and I went to get her, and the boys, the brothers, went running down the fence line, which is adjacent to her paddock, and that caused her to decide she's going to jump up in the air and buck also. Normally that wouldn't be a big deal, except for she was close enough to the fence to kick the fence. That resulted in a very loud, "Hey!" Which, sorry neighbors. But I have to kind of assume that she was just too close to the fence. I don't want to believe she's going to start kicking my fences in retaliation too. But I have to also keep in mind she did threaten the gate. So did she kick the fence on purpose? Hard to say. Gonna write that one off. I cannot write off the threat at the gate. So that is going to result in me having to be prepared to fix that tomorrow. So she did it once today. Obviously, I wasn't expecting it. I was not prepared to do anything about it. Tomorrow, I'll be prepared for it to happen again, so that way I can do something about it if she were to threaten the gate again. So I just, like, my point of this really is going to be is you have to teach your horses that it's okay to celebrate when you're not in hand. If you want to bounce around and act silly as I'm reaching the gate, that's fine. But as soon as your halter is on, you need to get into work mode, in proper leading mode, and behave. Katie's a perfect example of a horse that can bounce around, buck, rear, stand up on her hind legs and spin around and act completely out of control. As soon as her halter on, she knows her job is to behave and walk the way she's supposed to walk. Never once have I been worried that she was going to continue that celebration once she was in hand. Charlotte now needs to learn that. So when she came out of the paddock, when I went to retrieve her after she kicked the fence and was being bouncy, I had to use my hey command, which is a half halt command, which means, if you're walking a little too far ahead, I'll say, hey, I won't change my pace. She's expected to pump the brakes and get back with me. I'm not going to stop and get her back with me. I'm going to keep walking. She needs to pump the brakes that will allow her to fall back to me. I always equate that with like being in traffic and maybe seeing somebody in a car beside you that you've just passed and you recognize them like kind of at the last minute. So instead of, like just continuing on, you want to wave or whatever, you'll either let off the gas enough that you can roll back, or you might even tap the brakes enough so that you can roll back to your windows even with their window again. That's kind of how I equate that with. I'm expecting her to do the rolling back, right? the point is to not hold a grudge. So if she came out of the paddock and began to act normal in hand, then I have to be proud of her for her self-control and her understanding of the job at hand, which is being well behaved in hand. And not to, be mad at her for kicking the fence or being mad at her for spinning on the gate. Those things will be addressed tomorrow when I'm prepared to see them happen. But I couldn't do that today. It would have been too much after the fact. And it would have just been aggressive behavior or even abuse if I were to try to do anything in retaliation for her behavior. Tomorrow, I will be prepared for her to spin her butt at the gate, and I will already have my 12 inches of support hanging off Oopie's line and be prepared to swing it over the top of the gate and hit her on top of her butt if she were to bump up at the gate. And that should cause her to realize that gate bites. You know what I'm saying? So it will happen kind of at her instance. Now, if she doesn't do it again, fine, but I'm going to be prepared for the next week at least to see it happen again. Because a pattern is 3. So they usually do a second one. And if you can catch it on the second one, the pattern doesn't get developed. If they get to do it a second time and a third time, you're done. Like, now you have a bad habit. Okay, so I just wanted to be like, look, they're going to start experiencing the cooler weather. They're going to start getting a little spicier. And if they do get spicier, like, be prepared to fix the new behaviors, but also remember that if they behave as they should under the other circumstances in your interaction with them, that you don't bring your frustration of them kicking the fence or your even anger about them spinning at the gate when you're standing at the gate with you when they're doing the right thing next, I guess is the way I'm gonna say it. Like, I couldn't fix it, so I couldn't bring any energy there, but now I can't have energy when she's behaving, right? I have to have, good girl energy when she's behaving. Okay, have a great day.